Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Mitra, product marketer here at SuperOps. With me joining today is Manish, who heads up product marketing for RMM, and Portia, the product manager for everything PSA. Together, we'll walk you through all the latest updates and what's coming next. Let's get started. Before we dive into the new releases, here's a quick look at what we'll be talking about today. We'll kick things off with a quick refresher on SuperOps, what we do and what we believe in. Then we'll walk you through what's new on the PSA front, followed by updates on the RMM and integrations. There's also a sneak peek at our roadmap. We're really excited about some of our upcoming features. And finally, we'll wrap it up with an open AMA session with the product managers, Portia and Anirudh. So, all right, for all of those who are newer to the SuperOps family, or maybe just need a little refresher, here's a quick version. SuperOps is a unified PSA and RMM platform that's designed to make life easier for modern MSPs. Not just better interfaces, but better workflows, better collaboration, and better outcomes. Now, if you've been in this MSP space for a while, you already know this. The tools out there, they're kind of stuck in the past. Disconnected platforms, clunky interfaces, everything feels like it was designed a decade ago and hasn't really moved forward since. You've got teams spending more time managing the tool than solving client issues. And that's a real problem. That's exactly why we build SuperOps. Whether it's tickets, assets, automation, or client management, everything works together in one unified experience. And most importantly, we've built SuperOps to evolve with your needs, with AI powered features that help your team work smarter and not harder. So now I let Portia walk us through the brand new invoicing updates that we've got in PSA this quarter. Over to you, Portia.
Thank you so much, Mitra, and thank you, everybody who's joining. I'm Portia, as Mitra introduced. I work as a product manager and I take care of the PSA module. We've been hard at work enhancing the SuperOps PSA to help MSPs simplify billing, improve transparency, and also maintain a steady cash flow. From automating follow ups and invoices to giving clients a clearer view of what they are paying for, these updates are designed to make your billing cycle smoother, faster, and also more reliable. As you can see on the screen, here's what's new. We have an all new invoice reminder feature, consumption reports, multiple invoice scheduling, late fees, partial payments, and custom fields. Together, what we aimed to achieve by these features is to help you develop greater control, flexibility, and visibility over every step of your billing process, so you can focus less on chasing payments and more on growing your business, right? So I'm going to quickly share my screen and walk you through each of these features. So the first feature that I wanted to walk you guys through is the invoice reminders. And this is a feature that was designed to help MSPs maintain a healthy cash flow. We know how easy it is for some of these invoices to slip through the cracks. Sometimes clients just forget. So we built invoice reminders to help you stay on top of payments and gently nudge clients either before or on or after, an invoice's due date. So this is available in your invoice and quote settings. You can see that there is a toggle to switch on invoice reminders. Invoice reminders is present at the global and at the client level. So if you want like a blanket rule to be applied to all of your clients, you can set it up as a global invoice reminder setting. Or if you want it to specifically cater to a client in a customized way, you can also do that at the client level. Invoice reminders can, once you turn the toggle on, you can see that you can set up to 3 reminders, and all 3 reminders can either be before or on or after a specific due date for that invoice. And you can also choose to customize how many days before you want to remind or how many days after you want to remind your clients about the payment. As you can see right next to the reminder, you will be able to see a view template. This is basically for you to customize the template that goes through with the reminder. You can add all of your invoice related fields like your invoice ID, total amount, due date, and whatnot, as you can see in the side. These are placeholders that can directly be included within the invoice reminder template, just to make sure that the branding and the tone of your templates look more personalized and customized, and also like help remind your customers to get the payment rolling, and in return maintain a very healthy and a steady cash flow, right? So this is with respect to invoice. Quickly moving on to the next feature. I hope my screen is visible. We're moving on to consumption report, which is a feature that was designed to bring more clarity and transparency to your client invoices without kind of cluttering them. This was built specifically to help your clients clearly see what they are billed for, especially when it comes to block hour services or contract based inclusions. Now, instead of crowding the main invoice with every individual work log or service item, all of the detailed information is now neatly packed into a consumption report that gets attached to the invoice. So your clients can see the total hours offered, total hours consumed, and a complete breakdown of all of the work logs or contract items, all without the invoice itself feeling little overwhelmed, right? So you can again enable this feature in your in quotes and invoice settings by just toggling this toggle button on, which is the attached detailed usage report, attached usage PDF, and then you will be able to see that. Yeah, so you will be able to see that for every invoice that has a contract and has some kind of work log included within it, you can basically see the included items by clicking on the view consumption report. And say you want, because you also want to include this and send it to your clients, you will be able to see that as a part of your attachment here below along when you send your invoice. So this will be attached along with your invoice. This is again a feature that we wanted to build and make sure that your clients get good clarity and the invoice seems very less overwhelming and it's very, very clear for them when they make the payment. Right? Awesome. So moving on to the next feature, which is the multiple invoice schedule, is one of the most requested capabilities we've built, and is one of the most requested features. So this feature is all about automating your billing workflow so that invoices are created and sent automatically based on a schedule you design. Um, Essentially, you can decide what gets picked from the billing queue for a particular client and also when it gets picked up. Once configured, what ends up happening is that SuperOps will be able to generate those invoices on a recurring basis and send those invoices, keeping your billing consistent and error free. Again, this can be set at a client and at a global level. You can have multiple, say, for example, you want a blanket schedule that you want for your that you want to run across your clients. You can set it up as a global invoice schedule, and say if you want to have something that's really customized for your clients, you can set it up as a specific schedule for that client. Every time a client schedule is set up, it overrides the global schedule. Now, as you can see, this is again present inside your quotes and invoice settings. You can actually see that these are the schedules that's currently running globally, and you can specifically create schedules based on your specific criteria, right? Say, for example, you want all of your usage based contracts to go at the mid of the month and all of your recurring services to go at the end of the month. That can now be customized by specifying what you want to pick from the billing queue and scheduling it according to your wish. So here you can say you can give a schedule a name, a description. You can also kind of like set at what is the frequency in which you want the schedule to begin and when you want it to begin. The schedule can sometimes be as simple as all billable items for this particular client, or across just send it at one go. Or you can also now specifically select items for a particular set schedule. Now, these items are predominantly of three types. We've come up with a contract type, work log type, and a service or a product type. Contract type at a global level, you will be able to say that it is very vague. Like it is like, okay, all of my recurring, service contracts, or all of my usage-based contracts, or all of my one-time contracts that's in the billing queue. Let's just schedule it as a monthly recurring invoice, and along with all of the recurring service contract, include all of the contracts as overage items that is associated to the contract but needs to be billed separately. So all of that, you can specifically make rules in which you want this to work. And say, for example, you've picked all of your contract type, your service, and then you also want to kind of like combine that with all of the work logs that's associated to a ticket. You will be able to come up with combinations that would work specifically for your business case. Now, Let's move into what happens for a schedule at a client level or at a client schedule level. What ends up happening is that when you click onto a contract type at a client level, you will actually be able to select a specific contract as well. Whereas, say, for example, for this client, I can now just like choose to build my Microsoft 365 business and just like schedule that separately. So at a client level, you can get at a much more detailed stage, but at like a global level, those are blanket rules that apply. So this is one of the ways in which we feel like we can automate the manual work of going through each of the items and trying to like generate an invoice that specifically caters or specifically just pulls out some of the items from the billing queue. You can now almost automate most of these scenarios using the current invoice schedule model, right? So this is something that we're very excited about and very eager to hear from you guys as well. Moving on to the next feature. The next feature is actually late fees. Late fee is again a feature that was designed to help encourage timely payments and kind of like maintain a healthy cash flow. With late fees, you can automatically apply a charge when an invoice remains unpaid beyond its due date. This helps kind of like gently enforce discipline among clients while also compensating you for the delayed payments that has happened. So let me just, again, this is present at the quote and invoice setting level. You can, once you configure a late fee, you will be able to see a service item called late fee that's automatically added. You can mark it as taxable. It uses your client level tax type. And then as a penalty, there are two types in which you can charge late fee. It can be a flat amount or it can be a percentage of your invoice value, right? It can either be, say, for this, every invoice that's delayed, I will charge a flat fee of $250. Or I can keep it at 5% of the invoice value. You can choose your frequency in which you want this to be, like say, for example, I want it to add like $10 for every delayed day, or it can be, something that can uh, check on a monthly basis and keep adding as a penalty for a delayed payment. And you can also choose if it needs to immediately start after the due date or it has to be applicable after a specific grace period. So this is again one of the invoicing features that we've included in this quarter. Now, moving on to partial payments, this is a feature that gives MSPs so much more flexibility in how they collect and track payments from clients. With partial payments, what happens now is that you can record a payment for a particular invoice, right? And it need not be the full amount. Clients do make payments in payments partially for an invoice. So say, for example, you now move on to recording a payment and the amount received is just 600. Once you say enter a $600, you'll be able to see that there's a balance due. You save this. You just add a reference. You save this, you will be able to see that your invoice has moved into a status called partially paid. And for this particular invoice, there is still a balance that's pending, which is, say a dollar of 930 rupees. Now, in this scenario, what ends up happening is that one invoice can have multiple payments. So to make it easy for you to track the payments that's logged, we have a new payment summary in which you will be able to see all the payments that's made for this particular invoice, and you would be able to kind of like track it back in your payments view as well, right? And now this happens. The other thing that also is enabled now is that you can track your overpayment for a particular invoice. Say, for example, MSPs also sometimes receive payments in bulk from a client for multiple invoices together, or sometimes there's an overpayment that they've done, but you can add it as a credit. You just have to go here and say, for example, you can record a payment that's higher than the amount that's due, and you will be able to see there's an excess of 69. And this particular excess can be applied to an invoice automatically. All of your oldest open invoices or your future invoices can this payment, this credit can be automatically applied if you've enabled it in your settings. Or if you want to manually update, if you've turned that setting off, each of the invoices you can manually apply credits, and that will be taken into account as well. right? So this is with respect to partial payments and credits. We also now have a all new payment screen which tracks all of the recorded payments, and you will also be able to see how many invoices a particular payment was applied. Say there was a payment of 2000 that you've received in bulk from a client. You can choose to apply it to two invoices and close your oldest two invoices, and at the payment screen you will be able to see that the payment, you will be able to see to against what invoices that this particular payment was logged. So you will also be able to see the payments that this invoice was applied to. So this, in a nutshell, what partial payments does. I think it's fairly been like one of like a very different change that we've made, and I hope that this is useful and you guys find it helpful. Finally, let's look into custom fields for invoices and codes. This is a feature that gives MSPs the flexibility to make their billing truly their own. Um, we know that every business and even every region has its own requirements. So with custom fields, you can now add additional dimensions that are very specific to your company or your geography. For example, you can configure a PO number at the invoice level or add a VAT field at the client level if it's applicable, and choose whether these can apply on your final invoice, right? So as you can see here, you can go to your manage fields in settings, and you will now be able to see that there is space for quotes and invoices, and you would be able to create custom fields. You can create up to 10 custom fields for quotes and invoices, and you only 3 of that can be visible as a part of the template, right? So now here you can see your invoice template screen. You will be able to choose which custom fields that you want to add. You will be able to add invoice specific custom fields or client specific custom fields, but you will only be able to add a maximum of 3 custom fields into your template, and then the values get populated for it based on however from wherever the data is being pulled. So this is in a nutshell what we've built with PSA. Again, these updates, we hope that it gives MSPs greater control, flexibility, visibility through all of your billing process. So you can again focus on growing your business and chasing payments and grow your than like less on chasing payments and more on growing your business. So thank you so much. Over to you, Mitra.
Thank you so much, Portia. That was amazing. Manish, over to you for the RMM updates.
All right, folks. Hi, thank you so much for joining today's session. I am super excited to be talking to all of you, and I'm super excited to be sharing some of these updates that we've been working on over the last quarter, because some of them have truly been foundational in the way that we've wanted to constantly improve not just your experience from a breadth point of view, but from a depth point of view, where basically SuperOps is enabling all of you to work even deeper than before. Right, so what we've been focusing on lately is not just on the AI front, but we've also made some fundamental changes that is going to essentially elevate the sort of experience that you have with our RMM, making it much more solid than ever before. So yeah, I'm just going to get started with the updates right now, right? So all right, folks. So first on the list today is our AI patch sentiment analysis. This is a feature that we've been really looking forward to shipping, because I think we've also mentioned this during our during the last session as well, where we were in the very early stages of building it out. It was on the roadmap, but we were very excited for it solely because of all of the potential that it held. Uh, just for that reason, we wanted to make sure that this feature added a lot of value just in your day-to-day, where you weren't spending a lot of time on your research, you weren't going through a whole lot of community threads, you weren't out there trying to assess what the community sentiment was in terms of whether you had to go through all of these individual threads to see is the feedback good, does it require more testing, should you wait on deployment. So all of those doubts and all of those questions that you might have, we wanted to make sure that the product solves for it in a meaningful way, and that's exactly what we believe that AI patch sentiment analysis is going to do for you, because we've done a lot of small and big changes to your patch experience, which essentially starts from basically our historic patches as well, where now you can basically also see all of the previous patches that are deployed. You'll have an entire comprehensive list of all of the patches that have gone out. So that information is also going to be very useful for you to understand exactly what your patching posture is going to be, right? So moving into your the AI patching section of it, right? So Here, what you'll see that's brand new is that, yeah, obviously the patch descriptions are something that's AI generated that you're going to be able to see. But what you can see additionally is that you now have a classic view for patches, where if you're able to switch to the classic view button by clicking on the top right, you'll be able to see a list of all of the patches that are currently in the view that you've selected. And basically, you can scroll here and you can see a detailed patch summary for these patches, see exactly what they're about, and this basically helps you do the research for you, giving you just a nutshell of all of the information that you need to understand this patch in and out. And right below, you also have the online sentiment to understand exactly how the patch is being received by the community, right? So here, for example, in this patch, you can see that the online sentiment for Windows patch KB890830 is positive. People are really understand. People really do recognize it as a valuable malware removal tool. So here, your research is essentially done for you. And on top of that, we've also introduced an installation summary card, which is new. Especially if you've seen this presentation during our last webinar, we've added this card where you'll also get a quick snapshot of the number of assets in which this patch has already been installed, right? So right from here, you can basically get a complete summary of exactly what this patch is about, whether you should deploy it or not. You have all of those insights here, what category it falls under, and you can directly deploy it right from here using the approval buttons here. So please keep watching this space, because we still have a lot more cards planned for you on the cards, no pun intended, but you will have a lot more insights planned for you to make sure that you have the insights that you need to make the best decisions possible, especially when it comes to patch success rates, right? So that is our first feature of the day. And our second feature is essentially another highly requested feature, right? So here we're basically going to be talking about software management. And especially when it comes to custom software, we've one constant request that we've constantly been getting from customers is that they always felt like the file sizes for the installer files for was too low. It was the previous restriction was around 100 MB. So we've basically taken all of that feedback. We've also internally reviewed it, and we clearly hear you, and we've increased the support for all of these installer files from 100 MB to 500 MB now. So you should essentially have no problems deploying all the software you need for your client's needs. And it should be a very seamless process from now on. And the process remains exactly the same. The bar for the file size has been moved from 100 to 500. So you should have a much smoother experience deploying custom software for your clients, right? So that's feature number 2, I'd say. And feature number 3, again, is another fundamental policy level change, which is essentially on the remote desktop front, right? So uh, as you know, we now have 2 remote desktop options. One is FlashShop and another is ISL Online, solely for the purpose of making sure that you're able to provide remote support for your clients whenever you need. And you have the alternative that you need in case you're experiencing issues with one tool. You always have the option to switch to another. And in that exact same way, we've also made it easier for you to manage ISL Online just by setting it up on a policy level, right? So if you're going to settings and if you're opening up the policy section, for example, whichever policy set that you open, under remote desktop section, you'll be able to see that ISL Online is also now an option for you to customize and deploy on a policy level. So here you already have the basic settings like idle session timeout, what sort of session dialog timing that you want, what sort of permissions you want to have. All of these configurations are now available on a policy level for you to configure, so that any devices that fall under this section will automatically follow these settings that you've configured, and you should have no problem at all in terms of being able to perform remote access for your customers, right? So that's feature number 3. And on the 4th level is another fundamental change that we've made in terms of just increasing the user experience, the kind of context that you're getting, the actions that you'll be able to do. So, and that is essentially our upgraded version of topology mapping that we've incrementally worked on and released feature after feature, just to make sure that you have a much better experience using it, right? So let me just jump into one of our clients and show you exactly what the map is going to look like, right? So I'll tell you exactly on what fronts we've improved. So essentially now, just the process of navigation and finding your devices, whether it's zooming in, zooming out, being able to just navigate through your topology map is much easier. You can essentially use these buttons on the right if you want to zoom out and just see exactly how how wide your topology map spreads, or you can just zoom into individual clusters and see exactly the information that you want to glance, right? So obviously you can click on to any sort of devices, or if you're looking for any specific device, you can just type right here, right? If you want to search for your firewalls, you can just do that right here and you'll jump right into the devices, right? So what we've also added here on the second level is context, and that's context on every single front, right? So for example, if you're looking at a firewall, initially you just don't have to click into a device and go into it directly. So here you'll be able to see the device name and its online availability status right with just a hover, and you can just keep doing this for different devices just to see if all of the critical devices that you want are online. Of course, you also already have the icons, but just for that additional security, you also have this hover option. And on top of that, if you want the second level of insights, that's where the side pane comes in. So this is our newest edition where you'll be able to see a quick summary of all of the high level metrics that the device that's being pulled from the device. And here you'll be able to see your average RTT ping, if there's been any sort of changes to its status in the last 24 hours, how long it's been up for. Again, and obviously, if you want to see what its availability status is, just to make sure it's on, you can always use the ping to just see if the device is online. And of course, you want to see all of its network information. You can keep switching to the tabs and see exactly how data has been flowing in and out. And on top of that, you can also see any sort of manufacturer information or serial numbers or manufacturer data that you'd want to see, right? So that is the second part of the context situation. But of course, we also have another important situation where the connection between all of these devices, right? That's also something that's received an upgrade over the last quarter, where now you can, if you're clicking over any of these connected lines that you see here, you'll be able to see exactly how these devices are connected, what sort of bandwidth trends they have, and what errors that usually pop up, right? So that is another upgrade that we've basically made over the last quarter. And essentially what this is going to give to you as insights is tell you exactly what status the network is in, if data is flowing as it should, and if there's anything that you need to be concerned about, right? So of course, if you see any of these red lines, what it's also going to show you is if there are any alerts associated with it. So what additionally you're going to be able to see is if anything is down, are there any critical alerts associated with it? Is there anything immediate that you should address? So all of that information is now something that you have readily available. You don't have to jump into a whole bunch of screens. You don't have to scroll through a series of alerts to exactly find that one alert that you're looking for. Now, all of that is just readily available, just intuitively laid out for you so that you can just go through it in a very methodical, very meticulous fashion, right? So, and of course, if you ever want to just jump into a single asset and go through it in detail, just like dig deep and find more context and troubleshoot it, of course, you have all of that. It's still as easy as ever. But again, now from just a usability perspective, from a contextual perspective, you have all of the information, all of the gestures that you need to just keep getting worked on, right? So this is our brand new upgrade on the topology map side of things, and we're very excited for you to use it and just let us know what you think, right? So the next one, while we're on the topic of network devices, is maintenance mode. So we've had maintenance mode for a while now. Let me just open that up. So of course, we've had maintenance mode for a while now, where you can use that to just run any sort of routine maintenances that you've wanted without having to worry about the excessive slew of alerts that you'd keep getting. So here, now essentially what that does for you is show you what kind of functionality you've had, but that was just for your endpoint section, right? Now we've extended that support to make sure you can also perform the same level of maintenance with the same level of comfort for network devices as well. So what that's going to be enable you to do is, again, let me just jump into the policy management section. Now, if I open the network device category again, here, if I'm going to check out on router policies, I'm going to see an additional section on top of alerts is maintenance mode, where I'll be able to have the same level of flexibility in terms of scheduling maintenance on a regular cadence, set effective dates on when I want it to start, when I want it to end. And of course, obviously, I can pause alerts and notifications during this period of time so that I'll have a very smooth experience running my routine maintenance, and I won't have to worry about any sort of noise disturbing me or my team, so that they can just keep going on with their work, right? So that is our next update in terms of maintenance mode. And if you haven't tried it out for our endpoints already, urge you to give it a try. It's super convenient, and it can save you a lot of, it can basically save you a lot of stress and peace of mind, right? So that's the next one that on our list. And then we have a couple of smaller but also very useful enhancements that can save time for you. So that is essentially some of the uh, assets and the process of basically onboarding them onto SuperOps, especially with unmonitored assets, right? So because it is a bit of a process in terms of manually having to add each of your individual items, now we've basically made that experience easier by helping you onboard it onto SuperOps with a simple CSV file export. And if you've already had this experience in terms of importing assets or importing tickets, it's pretty much the same process where you just choose which type of device that you want to onboard. And as soon as you hit continue, you will be given a section where you can just choose to drop in a CSV file here, set a header, match the columns based on what fields that you want all of that information to fall into within SuperOps. Just make sure that you're giving it a quick review. And as soon as you're done with that quick review, you should be able to see all of that, all of those devices fall into SuperOps under the unmonitored asset section. All of the information will be pre-filled, all of the information will be populated in the right fields, and you will have a very seamless experience of just having to bring in the devices within a matter of minutes, and then you can just be good to go. You'll be able to document all of these unmonitored assets right within SuperOps, right? So the final enhancements that we have here would essentially be the sort of bulk actions that you usually do on your assets. We realized that we really didn't have a mechanism for that before, but now what you'll be able to do is basically select this bulk selector button, and then you can also choose to select it across all records. So for example, if you have over 500,000 assets, going 50 by 50 really isn't that efficient. So now what you can do is basically select this button just by selecting yes, select all records. You'll be able to see that all 150 assets under my management are being selected. Now I can choose to perform any of the asset actions that I want to in terms of that are readily available whenever I choose to do it on one device, right? So you'll have the same experience, but now you're going to be able to save a lot of time just by not doing it individually. Just a couple of clicks and you're basically onto your management with basically little to no effort, right? So yeah, so I think this we've been basically doing a lot of these small enhancements and also a whole bunch of big features on the side as well. But we're very excited to ship a lot more, and we're very excited to present them to you as well. So I feel like down the line we'll basically have some very exciting updates to share. So we can't wait to show you those as well. So yeah, so that's it from the RMM side of things. Over back to you, Mitra.
Thank you so much, Manish. That was brilliant. We'd also like to hear a lot about new integrations. I'll just share my screen.
This is a section that we're especially excited about because these are two of the most asked integrations on our roster so far. And these have been some of our biggest integrations to date, especially in terms of the sheer volume of requests that have come for us, uh, especially because they perform such a critical function across cybersecurity and data backup. But yes, we're excited to announce that we finally now have a partnership with both Axient and Huntress, some of the leading players in both the data backup and BCDR and the cybersecurity space. Again, we'd be more than happy to show basically how this works in later session. But then again, we want to make sure that all of your future integrations are also heard as well. So please keep sharing feedback in terms of what sort of partners you'd like to integrate with us next, and we'll take you up on those requests as well. So back to you, Mitra.
Thank you, Manish. So next up, it's the most exciting part of this webinar. It's the roadmap. We have our product managers, Anirudh and Portia, here to take us through the entire roadmap today. Over to you guys.
Hey, thanks, Mitra. Thanks, Manish and uh, Portia and Hari for fielding all the questions so far. It's been an amazing session and great flashback to what we've done over the last quarter, right? Really exciting what we have up ahead for us. So, looking ahead, especially on the RMM side, folks, we've continuously, added a lot more integrations as per your asks. For example, Acronis AV. So far, we've had Acronis backup as one of the pillars of backup integration, but then we've started to see a lot of, additional asks for Acronis AV as well. So that's when we've started to focus on that and probably very soon you'd be seeing the Acronis AV integration come up as well. The next is the HTTPS remote troubleshooting, and I see a few questions go up for HTTPS. Felix, for example, has asked about how you'd want to show HTTPS. So yes, we would be releasing HTTPS remote troubleshooting for early access very soon. Felix, we're also making a note of your ask, so probably you'll be one of the very first to have an early access to this, guys. And all of the guys on the call, all the folks here on the call, whoever wants early access to HTTPS, you could just reach out to support or your customer success manager, and we'll be able to enable early access for HTTPS remote troubleshooting. We've been focusing on some core jobs of patching. For the last 2 quarters, we've gone from strength to strength for patching, right from the approval matrices, additional reboots, different views, and fetching historic patches, AI around patching. So patching is a key focus area for us, and that is why we are going deeper into the endpoint patching with especially Linux. Over the last year, we've seen a huge spurt in the Linux devices that a lot of MSPs are starting to manage, and hence the demand and the ask. So with that, the focus also shifts towards the larger sprawl of OSs, right? With Linux being one of the pieces that we want to start focusing on. So just a sneak peek into what's coming up, a lot more being shipped right here, guys. And we don't have the time right now to actually take you through each and every one of these. But then from an RMM perspective, apart from this, a lot of other exciting stuff that you're looking on. Reach out to your customer success manager to actually know in detail each line item, what else is being scheduled for over the next quarter. Probably I'll hand it over to Portia for the PSA side of things.
Thank you. Thank you, Ani. So in PSA, next up, coding is getting faster and smarter. You will be able to create and edit and convert codes, which much more automation and like a fewer steps. So we are very excited for that. With respect to AI-powered ticketing, we are looking to make your service desk life pretty much very easy, where AI acts as a companion that is there making you just making processes much more efficient and smoother for you. You can think about how prioritization, smarter recommendation, all of that is going to help you close tickets faster. AI based search, this is like finding the right info inside your PSA is about to get a whole lot easier. Our AI new search understands what you mean and just not what you type itself. So that is something that we're excited about. Yeah, pretty much all of this along with invoice template improvements, which is a whole bunch of exciting features that will help your invoice template reflect your brand much more efficiently. So your invoices will speak your language, look much more cleaner, and it's going to be very, very useful. So this is with respect to PSA, guys.
Thank you so much, Portia and Ani. So the Q&A floor is open, guys. You're free to ask any questions right now. Our product managers will be answering it. We'll also be running a poll for early access. Please feel free to sign up for the new features that you would like to have.
Perfect. So probably I'll start taking the questions. Mike is here. Hi, Mike. Nice to see your pings here. Been a while since we caught up. Love to jump on a call and probably take you through all your questions. But yeah, historic patches. If we've actually rectified whatever issues we've had post the release, it should all be smooth. If you still encounter issues with respect to filtering the historic patches and taking actions on them, please do reach out to the support team via the chat, and we'll be, uh, willing to look into that and help you find the way through for historic patches. Meanwhile, while I'm going through the questions, guys, we are also putting up a poll whether you would like to join the early access program for HTTPS. So while you're going through the other stuff here, kindly vote in if you'd like to hop in. One of the very first folks to actually look into how HTTPS remote troubleshooting is like. Just vote here. The vote and the poll is live. would have it open for another 20-30 seconds probably. And yeah, post that you freeze it and see who all has access. So Mike's second question, I would move on to um, the ask is around reminders to uh, uh, the computer so that users can keep it turned on at night. Couple of ways we can look to solution this, Mike. Something that's currently not available, but surely something that we can look at. Again, pop-up on screen, it's achievable through scripts, but not the most elegant of ways. Probably a broadcast message is the typical way to do, but that's something that we need to pick up in the upcoming days, not something that's immediately available. So great ask, Mike, and surely something that a lot of the other users here will also benefit from. So that was on that one. Um, you again, next question again is from Mike. Triggering maintenance mode from a command inside a script. Um, Probably we'll explore that as well. We'll have to look at the specific functions that need to be done to actually enable that through the script. But a great one again, Mike. You're spot on that one. Um, Felix's question around HTTPS, Felix, probably will not be able to show it to you here on the session, but then surely would pick it up and enable for you, and we could quickly hop onto a quick call later between me and your customer success manager to take you through the HTTPS troubleshooting feature. Um, Neil from Leading IT. Yes, Neil, nice to see you again. What's the time frame for Axiom private vaults? At the moment, it only works for Axiom hosted vaults. So this is again, folks, something that the Axiom team has to enable for us. Their APIs do not spread across all their products. The private vaults is something that's on our joint radar, and we are charting, of course, a route with the Axiom team to see if we can pick it up early next quarter. But having said that, Neil, it would help if you could also nudge your customer account manager on the Axiom side around this so that they also understand the priority behind this, because we have these regular connects with the Axiom team, and that is something that we would love to host up and do it for you guys. All right. The first poll is done, guys, and that was around the HTTPS early access program. We have another poll, the second poll. I know going by the names, a lot of you guys are already customers, users, but then for those of you who's joined in new, who's new to the SuperOps ecosystem, if you're truly interested in looking at SuperOps, or you just want to have a chat with our account managers to take you through what the solution is, how we could add value to your business, do let us know with in the poll here. From the names, most of you are already customers, but then for those of you who are new to the ecosystem and would be interested to have a chat with one of our folks, give us a hands up on the poll that is currently live. We'll leave that poll on for another 20-30 seconds while we get to the other questions. The next one is for Nathan. Nathan, I'm not sure as to which question you pointed out. Can we have more details? Does it use third-party app or is it native SuperOps functionality? This is regarding what? Is it around the HTTPS functionality? Probably if you could clarify that in one of your additional questions, probably I could actually pick that up. Next one is from Moriko. Do we have a route to grow integration with SuperOps? Moriko, if you have any specific logos in mind, I'm not sure if I fully understand the question, but then if you have any specific logos in mind, do hit us up on the support chat window or with your customer success manager, and it will surely reach one of us 2 PMs, and we could actually take it from there. Another question from Nathan, can we have a way to classify assigned scripts runbooks so that we can better manage these without only relying on scripts runbooks names? It gets so messy. Nathan, I know this is surely an ask that's been up there for a while, and we're trying to look into this. A broader theme with SuperOps over the next couple of quarters is we are looking at the overall user experience, and with that comes all these smaller bits and pieces as well. So this is something that we will surely focus on over the next quarter, and we'll see how we can actually enable this apart from the inbuilt subject for strips of our runbooks. Are there other ways we could allow you to categorize and classify them and not just have names? So surely up our radar, and we could maybe keep in touch. We have a CS team to see how we can progress on this one. Mark has a question around the functionalities of Azure integration. Mark, we do have listed our functionalities for the Azure integration, but if you feel it's not working the way it's supposed to, or the functionalities promised on the support article aren't happening, do hit us out to us. We would be happy to jump onto a quick call and take you through that. Mark has another question. Probably a quick minute's break. Manish, over to you before we move on to the next set of questions. Anything else that you want to cover?
Thanks a lot, Annie. So I just wanted to take 1 minute of your time to show something from our end that we think would be super beneficial for you folks as well. So let me just share my screen real quick. So yeah, perfect. So here, again, I brought this up during our last session as well. I'm just refreshing your memory because we do have this space on the top right of your SuperOps instance where you'll be able to see a nice little rocket icon with a badge on top, which basically is our channel of communication to you folks. We want to make sure that you constantly are in the loop in terms of all of the updates, big and small, that you receive, even in terms of product updates, in terms of all of these sessions that we're running, in terms of the events that we're conducting, in terms of helping the community get closer to each other by running like roundtables and fireside chats and community meetups, right? So all of these communication items that we want to bring to you, this is the space that we're going to be using it. We're going to be using it a lot. It is going to be packed with a lot of information, a lot of insights in terms of all of the enhancements that you're constantly on the lookout for. So please, whenever you have the time, go through that section, see what's new, and we're sure it'll be useful in one way or another. So just wanted to bring it to your attention. Back to you, Annie.
Perfect, Manish. I know we have a few more minutes left on the plan, so we will look to answer the additional questions, just a few more questions. Mark has another questions around the integrations, all the integrations, Controls, QuickBooks, Accent, where you're required to manually create the clients. Is there a functionality to push them from SuperOps into the other tools? Totally get it, Mark. So our thesis to integration is we take it in 3 phases. The first is the bare minimum, the first set, where we look at how do we auto install, say, a Huntress or an Accent, and from there, how do you sync clients and so on and so forth. So from there, the second phase, which we are planning as part of next year, right? So 2026 is going to be that year where your RMM is going to get all the more closer to your AVs and backups. We have a huge strategy with all of our integration partners on how we are going to deepen, add more depth to the current set of integrations, where if the PSA or RMM is the source of truth, then the clients can be pushed from here to there. So we're working at a grassroots level, at a framework level for all of this, and this is something that we'll have to collaborate with the other partners other side as well. So yes, this is surely on the cards, Mark. Nathan has a question around any plans for Indian support. Yes, Nathan, that is surely up our radar. Do keep a watch on the Beamer in product notification for release notes. We could surprise you very soon with an Indian support, but also if you're really interested in MDM, our customer success head, Hari, is here taking notes, and we'd surely reach out to you or email to hop onto a quick call to take you through the latest updates around MDM. And again, folks, MDM is something that is really close to our hearts, and we are really looking to innovate and invest in that piece in the very next couple of quarters. Mike's last question is around Acronis AV. So yes, Mike, we do resell Acronis AV as well. We've been reselling the backup solution for more than a year now, and that same offering is extended for the AV piece as well. So if you are interested to procure Acronis, be it backup or AV from SuperOps, so that all of your invoicing for RMM plus AV plus backup is all in one place, you could just reach out to your customer success manager who could actually enable this for you. All right, guys, there was a lot of questions and hopefully we were able to answer each of them. For those questions that probably we're not able to answer, we have taken note of all those questions from all the users, and be sure to, have responses from us over emails or through your customer success managers. So back to Mitra here.
Thank you so much, Ani. It was a great webinar, guys. We'd love to see all the roadmap features come up next. So we'll be happy for you to try all of those out. And those of you who signed up for early access features, that will be available right soon for you guys. Thank you so much for joining today.